All right. Is everybody ready? Does anybody need a drink or anything before we start?
Blow me.
That's hurtful.
Is it? Just do your fucking thing, Joe.
Okay, fine. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Brainworms Podcast, the wholesome podcast for the whole family that helps you get through those cold, lonely nights. I'm Joe.
I'm David.
I'm Kaine.
And I'm Chris.
And occasionally, to my friends and loved ones, I'll make the joke. I think maybe Kaine's heard me do it. I'm done with eating food. I'm just going to go stand out in the sun for a while until my body figures out how to photosynthesize. Imagine my surprise when I discovered that there are people who actually believe that that is a thing that you can teach your body to do, just live on oxygen and sunlight.
I don't find that shocking at all.
Yeah, dude, there's like a percentage of the population that thinks the earth is flat.
That's fair. That's fair.
I wonder what the overlap is.
Probably
There's
a
a
circle.
surprising majority in the UK that thinks it takes the Earth 1 month to go around the sun.
Why specifically in the UK?
Because that's where the study was done.
Fair enough.
I mean, there's also people that think that there's another Earth, an inner Earth, the hollow Earth or whatever.
Where the shapeshifters live, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reptilians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they think that
The
shit is
reptilians are
real.
the shapeshifters, yeah.
So
they
you
believe
telling
it
me
in their heart of hearts.
that people saying, oh, I actually don't eat food, I get all of my nutrition from the sun,
Yes.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, that's fair. I was only surprised because it's something that I say as a joke. And then I was like, wait, just incidentally through my travels across the internet, no, people
was your
actually
first
believe
mistake.
that that's a thing you can do. What was a mistake? I'm sorry.
Traveling across the internet.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There was a point in my life when I was head over heels with a very, very irrationally new age lady in my youth.
We've all been there.
She had all kinds of stories about guys who would meditate in the sun and then they would develop little polyps in the back of their throat and they could like chew little bits off of it and eat it and then would have
Gross.
That's cancer.
Yeah.
That's what that is. They're
No,
sitting in the
no,
sun too
no,
long
no.
with their mouth open and they're getting throat
No,
cancer.
David, they're on a higher spiritual
That's
plane
body horror.
and they
This
produce
is
all
not
the
that-
nutrients they need.
Chris, this isn't the podcast for that stuff. You'll have to come back later tonight if you want to talk about that.
That's some Cronenberg shit.
But no,
feast on the tumors in the back of my throat.
I don't remember who it was, but someone that I saw on late night television at one point on a talk show was talking about being a breatharian. And it was the first time I had heard the term, and I immediately had to look it up. And yeah, it's absurd. It's the idea that you just get your nutrients from the sun.
I don't know, but I was just horrified to consider, why would Joe be bringing this up?
Why indeed would I be bringing this up?
Why is Joe bringing this up, guys?
Now, if the human body has some kind of fission reactor where we took like air molecules and
Chris.
split them apart for energy, then that
We would explode.
Yeah.
I want you to focus on why Joe is bringing this up. What the fuck, Joe?
It's almost as though that's the subject of today's episode.
Oh, God.
is this book gonna even have a story, or is it like this?
No, this is not. This is a...
Oh God, this is like when you made me watch the Ancient Aliens TV show, isn't it?
This is a little like when I made you watch Ancient Aliens. Yeah. This is a lifestyle guide that we're reading, written by Ray Maor. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I apologize
cares?
if I'm not. An Israeli author who is a spiritual breatharian guide who is committed to bringing the self-empowerment and spiritual development to all, that is in search for a higher understanding of realities, Kaine, and of our divine selves.
I just checked out, and David hasn't even started reading yet.
I do want to make a very serious note.
Okay.
Before we actually just like tear everything this guy says apart, let's at least give him enough room to at least make his
We're going to
case.
give him a fair shake. I mean, I
No.
feel like the belief that you only need sunlight and oxygen to sustain your human meat body
is irrational.
is pretty indefensible.
I just want to see what he does with it.
I
Sure.
make no promises. You want to give some idiot a fair shake? Go right ahead. I refuse.
But Mr. Maor insists that in this compelling book, he will explore breatharianism, its challenges, rewards, and how it completely transformed his life. So
David has been eerily quiet this whole time.
David has been quiet. Where's David?
I'm imagining him just sitting there staring at the wall with tears slowly streaming down his eyes.
No, guys, I'm just staring at the sun and
That's actually the
gaining
joke that I was going to
energy.
make.
Do you think that the people that just sun their buttholes are breatharians?
Do people do that? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I thought you're supposed to bleach it.
I've heard of bleaching your butthole, but
this
I've
was,
not.
Last year, I think this caught on. It was a whole trend where you would just sort of like downward dog, I think, and just present your ass to the sun.
And spread your cheeks?
No. And you're supposed to get all sorts of like therapeutic benefits from allowing the sun to penetrate your bottom.
Okay.
I mean, I believe that if you believe that and you do it, then you'll get therapeutic benefits in the same way that when students believe that when their master can knock them out with their chi or pressure points, and they actually do, in the same way.
Sure.
No, that's called acting.
I mean,
That's like Reiki. Like the amount of people that think Reiki's real, it's like you're a
that
fucking
new age,
idiot.
that new age lady, she was real into
quartz
that.
crystals will heal your mind and body.
Hey, don't you guys start talking about my JO crystal. All right, my JO crystal gives me power and confidence in social situations.
The crystallized semen that you've been collecting since you were 14 is not magic.
In a jar with a My Little Pony action figure in it, I assume.
It's not magic.
there's something magical about that.
Look, I'm tired of you guys not supporting me because when I try to come over to charge up my JO crystal by giving you guys a righteous handy, you won't let me do it.
Maybe if you knew how to give someone else a handy, like not everybody wants you to violently grab a hold of their penis and just.
I'm going to cut that off real quick. Don't Google JO crystal or My Little Pony jar. Just
Google
don't do
JO
it.
crystal.
Don't look any of that up. It won't make your life better.
Do it.
Why don't we convince David to start reading this goddamn book?
We should convince David about that. But before we do that, we should remind the listeners about WeGiveYouBrainWorms.com.
Man, that's such an awesome website.
It's such
Oh
a
my
good
God.
website.
Oh my God, Joe, can
I
we
spend
sell,
so much
can
time
we
there.
sell JO crystals?
Shut the fuck up.
Please, I need that.
It's a good website, and it lets you ignore Chris a little longer.
Yeah.
But because you're distracted by it. And also it tells you all of our future projects and endeavors, all of our current projects, and it gives you a link to our Patreon where you can support whatever the fuck this is.
Art.
Is
Yeah.
that what
Yeah.
it is? Is that what we're calling it?
Look, it's this or we have to go stare at the sun and hope we get nutrients from it.
You can stare at the sun, but I will be being intimate with the sun. Thank you.
Well, getting your downward dog.
Supporting our Patreon helps us buy food so that we don't have to go and be intimate with the sun.
And no, we're not going to start selling JO crystals.
Why not? I need that. I need that in my life.
Is there anything that I forgot before we try to convince David to start reading this book?
I think Chris forgot there's a thing called Etsy that's completely disconnected from the Brainworms Presents that he can market and sell JO crystals till his heart is content.
If you want to sell your handmade magical jewels, then go open yourself an Etsy store.
Family jewels, if you will.
And we will not condone any of it.
No.
One last thing that I have to say, just for the listeners' benefit.
None of this is for the listeners' benefit.
No.
Just before this podcast, I had forgotten our schedule. So 3 minutes before we started recording, I'm out mowing the lawn, and I get a text from Joe thankfully reminding me that I have a podcast to record, so I am in my lawn mowing clothes right now, slightly sweaty.
Isn't that more clothes than you're usually wearing when we record the podcast?
That's a good point.
And slightly sweaty is just sort of
Yeah,
your basic
Probably
default,
equally sweaty
right? Yeah.
and more clothed.
I mean, most of the time I feel like you come to the podcast just after creating a new JO crystal. So.
It's already crystallizing in the sun as we are hitting the record buttons.
Well, with that.
Gross.
A year without food. Discover the unimaginable world of proven energetic nourishment. Summary. In chapters 1, 2, and 3, I discuss the life force of prana, also known as chi, or ki, our ability to use it, and how to raise it in our body via conscious belief systems. I speak about people who choose breatharian lifestyles and what defines them, as well as why this knowledge is not known to all.
Mostly dead. They're mostly defined as being dead.
Yeah, and that's why the knowledge is not known to most, because the people trying it are dying.
Right.
In nature, it's not a selected
Or
for
they're
trait.
realizing that it's killing them and they stop doing it and tell no one because they're ashamed.
Right, could be.
As they should be.
We'll see. Chapter 4, I explain why breatharians choose this lifestyle and concentrate on the spiritual and health benefits which come with it. I discuss different aspects of being a breatharian and the advantages I have seen manifest in my friends over the years. In Chapter 5, I discuss my personal story of discovery, choice, and initiation. I detail my challenges and my inner call to make this knowledge available to the public. In Chapter 6, I delve into my television debut, the experience in which I volunteered to live for 8 days without food or water under video surveillance, being medically monitored on a daily basis.
Now, I want to point out real quick that while that is taxing, anyone can go 8 days without food. It'll suck, but you can do it.
Food, yes. Water is a bit of a different thing.
Water, 3 days.
Right.
If you don't get water within 3 days, you die.
And these are, medically understood, but here's the thing. Okay. Is this kooky? Yes. And do I believe in it? No. However, have I seen people like Wim Hof climb to the top of a mountain wearing nothing but a pair of shorts?
There are always exceptions to the norms and the rules and so on.
But with Wim Hof in particular, that's a method that he's able to teach, and other people are able to pick that up and do the same thing.
Sure.
Oh, that's fascinating. I did not know that.
Yeah. So there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Right. We must, okay.
And the qualifier, just because he did it, doesn't mean that you should.
Right. Yeah. There are things that you can do that maybe you ought not. And I feel like trying to live without food may be one of those things.
Yeah, I believe it's Chris Rock had a joke in the late 90s. You can drive a car with your feet if you want to. That doesn't mean you should.
All right. And probably because this guy was on television, he's probably the person that I saw. Who
Very
knows?
possible. Yeah.
In Chapter 7, I explain the most commonly known methods of becoming a breatharian, including the method that I developed called the Pranic Living Group Initiation. In Chapter 8, I discuss the mind mastery that can be used to actively further one's personal development. I share a collection of tips and tricks that assist in understanding the way our minds work, how to control and influence them, how to reprogram them, and how to become more consciously aware of oneself. In Chapters 9 through 14, I discuss the different challenges of being a breatharian from my own point of view and through the collective experiences of other breatharians whom I have initiated. I also give theories, scientific facts, and additional thoughts about the different subjects discussed throughout the book.
Sure, it's loaded with facts, guys.
Yeah. Loaded
Scientific facts.
Is this summary accomplishing anything?
I think more than anything else, it's just sort of giving you an overview of what to expect.
Like if you take this seriously enough that you're using this as like a textbook or a study guide, then having that chapter by chapter breakdown is actually pretty useful.
Okay.
But I would like to ask our listeners not to try to do that because you'll die.
Brainworms Presents does not condone anything that this person says. We're not telling you to do it. In fact, we're telling you don't do it.
Yeah, don't listen to this quack.
And if you do it, don't sue us for doing it. Sue him.
Yeah, he wrote a book.
Yeah.
Which you can get for free.
For free.
On Amazon. So, if you're interested.
He's not charging for it?
No.
The Kindle edition is $0, but for a physical paperback copy, it is $16.
So does that mean that he is not profiting off this book?
I don't know how that works.
That's interesting, at least.
Yeah, just sharing
I
misinformation
don't know if Amazon is giving him some kind of a kickback to...
as a philanthropist.
Yeah, he wants to help people.
Yeah, and he's just giving this knowledge that he's acquired of how to starve yourself.
I'd be interested in knowing how much his like classes or study groups cost, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway.
All right. So jumping in here, we're going to start on what is prana? And this might be of interest to Chris, too, because maybe it'll touch on why a master can knock down a student.
Yeah.
Prana is the energy that animates and connects all living things.
It binds the galaxy together.
That's right. There's a light side and a dark side, people.
That's exactly what I thought of.
You may know this energy by other names, such as life force, liquid light, chi, the force, orgone, and cosmic particles. Anytime somebody name drops orgone, by the way,
I've never heard that word
you're
before.
in for something good.
What the fuck is orgone?
I heard that before.
It's the mysterious, it's the same thing. It's the mysterious force that animates and connects all living beings, but there was a guy in the...
It's a sex cult.
Most of things are... But back in the 30s, I think, and it's been a while since I've read about this, so I could be misremembering. But
most things are either sex cults, death cults, or both.
There was a guy that built a box, and he claimed that you could take these boxes and they would collect the orgone and they would distribute it properly. So if you have these boxes spread around, they would actually basically be filtering the energy. Yeah, so just quackery.
I wondered what those weird boxes were in your house. I thought they were some kind of weird art piece.
No, it's important.
It's important to point out that orgone energy is named such because it's orgasm. I'm not making that up. I'm not making a joke. That's literally what it is.
Wilhelm Reich. That's right. Yeah. Anyhow.
Yes.
Modern mysticism has been getting uninteresting people laid since the late 1800s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's briefly talk about Aleister Crowley.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
He probably would have gotten laid on his own without being a spiritualist, a mysticist, an occultist, a magician, whatever.
Sex magic?
But yeah, he definitely was working towards an end there.
Mm-hmm.
A bell end.
I see what you did there. Talk about your penis.
The essence we try to convey with all of these words is universal life energy. It is important to understand that with each inhalation, we are taking two things into our body, air and prana.
And all the other things that we take into our bodies when we inhale.
Yeah,
there's so much in the atmosphere that we're absorbing.
Micro
skin
pollution,
viruses.
Yeah.
Too soon, David.
Various particles.
Prana is the energy that drives all of life and is essential to our existence, more so than air.
Citation needed.
In yoga, Oriental medicine, and martial arts, the term prana refers to cosmic energy believed to come from the sun.
I just keep thinking of prawn.
And which connects all the elements in the universe. You can eat nothing but prawn.
That'd be awesome.
As the universal principle of it's sun prawn, sun shrimp.
Sun shrimp. What are the stats for that?
As the universal principle for energy or force responsible for the body's life, heat, and maintenance, prana is the sum total of all the energy manifested in the universe. This life energy has been vividly invoked and described in the Vedas and in Ayurveda, Tantra, and Tibetan medicine. Prana is not only found in air, it exists everywhere. It is within me and you, in plants and animals, in the earth and all the elements that create our planet.
Another term for them is midichlorians.
Nice.
So does that mean that we can skip the just getting prana from air if we enjoy getting prana from animals and vegetables and
Absolutely.
And
Yeah. You can also get your prana from eating plants and animals.
That's
and
what
apparently
we
other people
suggest you do.
And dirt.
Yeah, if you eat
Hot
a
Wheels
person,
cars.
I imagine you'll get just overloaded with prana.
You'll get all of their prana.
Yeah.
All of their life force.
Eat
Wait,
them
are
and
we
gain their power.
encouraging people to commit cannibalism now?
No.
Cannibalism is a victimless crime as long as you clean your plate.
Do you guys remember that time that we were doing that prana exercise and you were stuffing me full of kielbasa sausage in every orifice and then I became truly enlightened because I was so full of life energy?
I do.
I don't remember that.
That's why you're so enlightened now and full of sausage.
So full of sausage. All of the kielbasa.
It's just got to perform.
Nice.
There is no place where prana does not exist. It exists even in the spaces we perceive to be void. Pranic energy is closely connected to the energy one might describe as the soul, and life cannot exist without it.
Okay, so the fifth universal force. Got it.
Yeah.
There is an old saying that a man can live for 40 days without food, 3 days without water, 5 minutes without oxygen, but without prana, not even 1 second.
I've never heard that
I've
said.
never
It's
heard
an
anyone
old
say that,
saying
yeah.
I've never heard, yeah.
Maybe it's popular in Asia.
I doubt it.
Prana is invisible to the human eye and not measurable with our current scientific instruments.
But we're
How
sure it
convenient.
exists.
Really?
And hasn't
It's
been
Russell's
measurable hasn't been measurable by any scientific instruments for the last 1800 years.
Woo!
But it's there. We promise.
Here's my problem with this whole idea of like, oh, well, science just isn't advanced enough to detect it. Like, look, like the philosophy of what a measurement, a metric, a measuring device is that it makes the most slightest influences on our realities and our existences measurable.
Mhm.
So if we have all of these devices that can measure fucking atoms and your mystical forces have no effect on these
Yeah.
measuring devices, then they have no effect on our physical universe.
Mhm.
It's the God of the Gaps thing.
Yeah, okay. So let me just read this next little bit here.
Yeah. Sorry, David.
No, it's okay, but I think we'll have a good place to have a conversation here. Prana is invisible to the human eye and not measurable with our current scientific instruments. Despite this, as spiritual individuals, we can feel the truth of its existence all around us. Prana moves through the body via an energy tube about the size of the circle between your index finger and thumb.
Fucking what?
This tube begins approximately 10 centimeters above your head or crown chakra and continues downward through all 7 chakras, finishing under the perineum located between the anus and the genitals. Prana is a subtle element pervading each cell in the living tissue and fluid of each organism, much like electricity through atoms in a battery.
The taint.
Okay, so I'm not going to get into whether or not there's any, relevance to chakras. This is something that I have my own personal beliefs on. Whatever. There's,
Sure.
energy centers, things that we inside of our brains can influence ourselves, etc. Perhaps that has an influence on our perception of the outside world, which does realistically and literally change.
Right.
Also, informative example, that guy you mentioned who climbed the mountain in his shorts.
Precisely. Fucking David Blaine froze himself in a block of ice for 3 days?
Mhm.
And came out of it just fine. So people can do some crazy shit. However, if it's invisible to the human eye and not measurable, as Chris was saying before, if it's having an effect, we can detect the Higgs boson.
Mhm.
Right?
We can detect subatomic particles, quarks,
Right.
strange, up, and all these different, so very, very small things that are just fundamentally building the universe around us. If there were an actual energy force,
and it doesn't affect things on that level, then it has no influence on our reality. Like when the Big Bang happened, I forget how many there were, but there was a lot of universal forces at the time, and in the billions and billions of a second immediately right after the Big Bang, those forces just diminished. I don't think they're 100% just gone, but they're so weak and inconsequential that they might as well not exist.
Sure.
And we end up with the 4 universal forces that we have now.
Well, I think that in regards to... So I've always taken issue with...
Most things.
Well, no, just humbug. Just
Right.
shit that people claim exists without having any
Yeah.
fucking evidence to support it at all.
Anytime somebody says, no, it's totally real, you just can't
Right.
feel it, smell it, or touch it. You just have to believe it's there.
Exactly.
I'm
So, I
immediately
mean,
like, you're a fucking liar.
it currently makes perfect sense to me why prana is a fucking inner tube connected to your chakras. It makes sense to me because why the fuck wouldn't it be connected to your chakras? You know, I
Well-
mean, it's a mystical fucking force that
Right.
unites the existence of all reality. And of course, it's going to be connected to the other shit that's a mystical force connected to your reality. Like, I think the worst part about this, at least in my eyes, is how many fucking people will have read this book
Mm-hmm.
and now are going to like probably die because of it.
Right. Or at least seriously harm themselves.
Do we need those people breeding if they believe this?
That's not a question.
Thing is, like, people who generally kind of fall into these traps of like new ageism are in a place in their lives where they need something to fulfill themselves. And it's not that they're not capable of critical thought. They're just in a state of mind where they're very vulnerable to exploitation.
All right, so here's what we're going to do because I need to test some things out real quick. I'm going to go outside, strip down,
Mm-hmm.
right? The moon is currently in a position where I can get full access to the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go strip down.
Uh-huh.
And for the next like 15 to 20 minutes, I'm just going to be a breathinarian or whatever the fuck that is.
Okay.
Yeah, work on raising your prana. Get that
I'm
shit
going to
flowing
raise my
through.
prana. I'm going to align my chakras and I'm going to take a crystal and shove it right up my asshole.
Make sure you grab one of Chris's.
So I'm going to keep an eye on news updates. If I hear about a nude man or trying to fight off and being tased by 4 or 5 police officers before being drug off to jail, I'll see what I can do for you.
No, just leave me.
Okay.
Yeah, if I end up in jail, I'm gonna organize the other inmates and we're gonna start some shit.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But yeah, so you guys keep doing your thing. I know I'm not gonna miss anything while David's reading, and I'm going to go test this experiment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go test this argument.
Take notes
And
and
when I get back,
photographs.
no photographs. That's inappropriate. And then when I get back, we'll sort this shit out.
Okay.
Before you leave, are you hungry right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go have some sun for dinner.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Don't forget to open your tube.
Each person naturally maintains a different level of prana, which varies from day to day. Generally, when you're in a place where you feel comfortable and in the present moment, you find you are not motivated to eat from habit or emotional need.
What about when I eat when I'm sad?
Well,
You're raising your prana levels, Joe.
that's exactly right. See?
Okay. All right.
For example, when you're happy, content, or in love, you may notice your appetite tends to decrease. This is because in higher vibrational states of being, the percentage of prana in your body rises. In contrast, lower vibrational states such as melancholy, frustration, fear, and dissatisfaction can cause you to eat much more than is absolutely necessary. Now I see why I'm a fat ass.
Now, how does this relate to coffee? Because coffee suppresses my appetite and it is not full of prana and it's not nutritious at all.
Yeah, that's the caffeine, yo.
Yeah.
That's all that
Unrelated.
is. Like,
Well, I want this man to explain that.
Science.
Is coffee like on a higher level frequency? And when I'm more enlightened when I drink coffee.
it might be increasing your vibrations. I think that's fair. Yeah, coffee definitely increases you to a higher vibrational state.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that one of the mentalities of these sorts of philosophies was eschewing chemical effects on yourself.
I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that the sort of end state, the end goal of living in full touch with your prana or whatever, of being a breatharian, is to get away from any of the base needs of the meat suit.
Right.
Well, but wait, hang on. So when I smoke weed or when I drink alcohol and I'm in a very artificially content place,
Mm-hmm.
I also eat a lot.
Well, that's clearly because your body is recognizing, your higher self is recognizing that you have been trying to fool your meat suit. You've been just, giving all of this attention to the base monkey self of your body. And
Right.
so you're trying to shove food into yourself to really get yourself back into linking with your prana. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going.
I
with
want to
this.
see how far you could stretch that.
That was about it. That was as far as it got.
Love and lust, two sides of the same coin, I would say, are very basic monkey suit emotions. How do they increase my prana?
Well, lust is best practiced when you are tantric, obviously. If you're releasing your crystals, then you're just putting that pranic energy out into the world instead of keeping it selfishly for yourself to fuel yourself. So you have to like raise your energy through the sexual act without ever ejaculating or reaching a state of orgasm, because you're then just building up your pranic energy. So that's the only way to effectively and properly practice lust.
So if I ever go out and find a sex, it's more beneficial for my partner if I don't make them come, because that would be making them lose their prana. That would be selfish.
Exactly. Yeah. Never work to make anyone come.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend their energies. Actually, side note, fun fact, in early Chinese Confucius philosophy, I think it was Confucian, they actually believed that women it was the whole like yin and yang. Yin energy would become increased by the male having intercourse and ejaculating. The more often he ejaculated, the greater his energy would become, the better he would be as a person, the more cleared he would be. Women were receptive, and so they were supposed to have as many orgasms as they could. No, you know what? I fucked that up. Women were supposed to have as much sex and as many orgasms as they could because it would clear them out and make them better people. If they didn't have this kind of release, it would just make them crazy, basically. They would have all of these bad spirits and just get all sorts of messed up inside. But men were supposed to preserve that because they only had so much.
So what you're telling me is that in a free love society, people are more chilled out.
Yeah. It turns out, like, if you're fucking all the time, you're pretty low key. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Our prana percentage also depends on our environment. With air pollution increasing in many big cities, the percentage of prana in the air continues to decrease. Nature, on the other hand, provides abundant prana, which is why you may also find yourself eating less in natural settings. No, I know exactly what you're going to say here.
Prana pervades
Prana's
all matter.
in everything.
So why is pollution
why
bad?
is it not in the air pollution?
Right.
I got no answer to that. Yeah, that's...
I don't know if this is more reflective of my brain or the way that this person is explaining this, but I can't help but imagine that there are just constant Grand Theft Auto meters above our heads measuring our prana and just going up and down and up and down. And it's just gamification. Like, you have to maintain your prana, and if you do anything that lowers it, then it's bad. And I wonder if I just stepped into some insight about how this kind of new age thought has been assembled.
Prana is often discussed in martial art philosophies, and many claim it provides conscious individuals with superhuman abilities. In India, yogis are known to practice pranayama, specific sets of breathing exercises designed to draw additional prana into the body with each breath. Raising your personal level of prana is not very difficult and can be achieved through the regular practice of meditation, deep breathing exercises, and conscious intention. Call it what you will, that does have
Benefits.
Results. There is actual...
medically measured with our current sciences.
Reproducible and trackable and very fundamentally real benefits come from a practice of meditation and just conscious intention.
Sure.
Prana is an important general discovery as we try to piece together the missing links in our human evolution.
What?
Because our current scientific instruments cannot measure prana, its existence is largely ignored or misunderstood. This is one of the reasons I decided to write this book after my years of personal research on the subject. For more information on prana and the breatharian way of life, I have given a list of external resources at the end of the book.
That's helpful.
Oh boy.
So if we want to make this the Prana cast, we have a place to start.
It's our duty to raise our listeners' prana.
It's true.
We need to shrimpify everything. Change the logo to shrimp. We're now the Shrimp Worms podcast.
Call the art department.
The scale of human nutrition. Many different groups of people distinguish themselves from others by their dietary choices. Some pick their diets consciously, others not so much. Some diets are based on philosophy and religion, while others are maintained purely for health and other physical reasons.
Some of us pick our diets in a similar fashion to campground raccoons and just gobble up whatever delicious-looking garbage runs in front of us.
I feel seen. I feel seen.
That's amazing.
Let's start with the omnivore, whose diet today's society
Omnivore.
deems normal. An omnivore consumes both plant and animal materials, often without any specific eating philosophy, beyond I'm hungry and I have the teeth for this. Sometimes omnivores refine their diets to control physical appearance or health, to build muscle, lose weight, or lower cholesterol. Next is the well-known vegetarian, who chooses not to eat meat. This is often a religious or philosophical choice, demonstrating compassion for animals subjected to harsh practices in the meat industry. In recent years, research, such as the China study, has proved that excessive consumption of meat, more than 3 meals a week, is not as healthy for the human body as was once thought. This has provided new motivation for people to become vegetarian. Taking this a step further is the vegan, who chooses to consume neither animals nor products derived from them, including honey, dairy, and eggs. By the way,
Honey
if
is
you
vegan.
don't take honey from the bees, you
Yeah.
are actively hurting them.
Yeah, honey is absolutely vegan.
Then there is the raw foodist, who eats mostly fruits, nuts, and vegetables in their natural raw form. This food philosophy encourages the consumption of food not heated above 40 degrees Celsius because cooking heat damages the delicate nutrients and enzymes which nourish the body and aid digestion.
Okay, wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Okay, so prana is reflective of energy states. Yes, the sun emits huge amounts of prana, right?
Right.
So heat is how we describe the excitement level of atoms,
Mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm.
So that would be a higher prana state.
So cooking something would just fucking fill it with prana.
Yet you're saturating it in an environment full of prana. How does that damage its nutritional value?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, this literally says that cooking damages the delicate nutrients and enzymes which nourish the body and aid digestion.
Yeah.
So if it's bad to eat food that's been cooked, how is it better to just not eat food? Like, isn't that...
It's almost like this philosophy is inconsistent on a foundational level.
Oh my goodness.
Also, cooking is actually just a technological way of pre-digesting our food. It unlocks a nutritional value in the meat or whatever you're cooking.
Uh-huh.
Some raw foodists choose to go even deeper into the mechanics of the digestion process by following the rules of proper food combinations.
Some people go even deeper and just sit in a circle with their mouths on their assholes and suck the shit out of themselves.
I've seen that movie. It was a 3-way
What?
human centipede.
Oh, right. Okay.
But I really do. I want to know more what the rules of proper food combinations are.
Yeah, let's go. Let's learn.
Unfortunately, it doesn't go into it. Following the raw food movement are lesser-known practitioners known as fruitarians, who choose to be nourished solely from unprocessed fruits, and liquidarians, who blend raw food into soups and smoothies. Of course, individuals follow each of these diets to varying degrees. Some vegetarians eat fish, some vegans consume honey, and some raw foodists enjoy a cooked meal from time to time. Levels of commitment are entirely up to individuals.
Real quick, and I just want to make a weird disclaimer, and I'm assuming we all agree on this. We're not saying that any of these practices are bad.
No.
It's purely an individual level.
Yeah,
For some people, veganism can be very
Yeah.
unhealthy. For them, for other people, it's incredibly healthy.
Yeah, as long as you're
just gotta
healthy
find
and you're
what-
giving your body what it needs and not being like me and eating just whatever garbage comes your way. Do what you want. Make yourself happy. It's fine.
Look, actually, I think I figured it out here, guys. I am a breatharian. It's just my level of commitment is extraordinarily low.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was a weird qualifier there. Just like, there are these things and these are the benefits and people make these choices. But then people just kind of do whatever the fuck they want with regards to these lifestyles. And none of it
he's
fucking
not
matters.
wrong.
He's not wrong. But what's his point?
In general, the further along a person is on this scale, the easier it is for their digestive system to function, and the cleaner and healthier their body becomes. These lifestyles also free up energy to perform other activities. Today,
Wait, what?
most diseases are caused by bad nutrition and body toxicity. Until about 150 years ago, the human race only consumed fresh food. More recent inventions like pesticides, chemical preservatives, high sugar concentrates, chemical sugar replacements, fast food, and the increase in food processing has thrown our alkaline acid dietary balances way out of proportion.
But wait. Prana is reflective of energy state, and sugar
I think you're getting real hung up on that, dude. Prana is not traceable through science.
Yeah.
You have to decouple
Yeah, prana
it.
is not calories because you can
But
quantify calories.
No, but he said that like when you're in love, when you have a lot of energy, your prana is up. So prana is reflective of energy states.
Uh-huh.
The sun sends prana to us. The sun is
Through your butthole.
incredibly high. What?
Through your butthole.
Yeah, through your anus. The sun is an incredibly high energy state.
Uh-huh.
You have to unify these things. You can't not unify this with the rest of the universal forces if you want this to fly.
You're thinking way too critically.
Your energy tube is too constricted.
Yeah, you gotta relax your tube.
Relax your tube, man. Relax your tube.
You don't want to know what happened the last time someone said that to me.
You're right. In a nutshell, our body needs an 80-20 or at least 60-40 balance of alkaline to acid compounds to thrive. For the most part, fruits and vegetables are alkaline, while meat, bread, and other wheat grain products, dairy, and sugary foods contribute to acidity and toxicity in the body. Many spiritual seekers naturally feel called to climb higher along this scale of nutrition towards vegetarian, vegan, raw food, fruitarian, liquidarian ways of life. While the initial motivation may be to accept responsibility for the mistreatment of animals, it soon develops into a deeper understanding. Our body is our temple, and what we allow into the body has an impact on the mind-body-spirit connection. The more you take care of your body, the easier it is to progress along your spiritual path.
Yeah, the more you take care of your body, the easier it is. So stop eating.
Yeah, nothing he's saying here is in a vacuum incorrect.
No, but I mean, that's how the pseudoscience...
That's how they get you.
Yeah, that's how
Right.
most cons work, is they give you enough provable, factual information mixed in with everything else that you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
And I mean, we know that the better you take care of your body, the better your brain works, right?
Right.
Like there's a proven link between people developing dementia early on and, if you exercise regularly, take care of yourself, have a healthy diet, you will have a much better old age. So we know this. We know that your brain works better when you're well fed, and assuming that there is a third thing called spirit, for lack of a better term, spirit or prana or the
chi.
force or orgone or what have you, then if you're taking care of your body, you're probably also going to be taking care of your spirit and your mind. Although it brings into question, like, why do you have to take care of your body to make your spirit and your mind perform better? Why can't you just focus on being really, really sharp and a very spiritual person and just make your body better?
Also, how does exercising, which is using prana, make me healthier if I'm losing prana in the process of when I go on a run?
How do you know you're losing it?
It's true. You can't track it.
Because you're consuming energy to make your body function.
You're confusing prana with calories.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah, it's not quite the same thing. The above scale describes most of the human race, people who consume food to satisfy both hunger and nutritional needs. There's no judgment here. Just a statement of the facts most people tend to take for granted. For most people, food equals survival. There is no choice, and they feel the need to consume a certain amount of food daily. The daily intake of vitamins, minerals, proteins, carbohydrates, and many other nutrients.
Garth,
What's going on?
I was so wrong.
Oh, yeah?
Are you stuffed full of prana?
I'm eating it right now.
I guess
delicious?
the nude lounging in the sun didn't work out for you?
No, I mean, I got like a whole mouthful of prana,
Uh-huh.
and I was just chewing it up just now, finishing up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Actually, no, I had some Oreos.
Well, I mean, they are delicious and flavored with the sun and vegan.
And vegan, yeah.
They are vegan. But yeah, it's winter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably not a whole lot of prana to be had right now.
Okay.
And stripping down to your birthday suit and standing outside.
Oh, that was a real bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get
Ooh.
frostbite in places you don't want it.
Yeah,
It
you
was a
don't...
little chilly. And I definitely did not feel as though I was gaining any nutrients.
Okay, well, no, hang on, because something else occurred to me. So, when I do cocaine, is cocaine just packed full of prana?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
Fuck it.
concentrated prana.
It's just
yeah.
pure prana.
Yeah.
Uncut. Unless it's been cut.
If you do nothing but cocaine for the next month, you will be a Jedi Master.
It's true. You will achieve oneness with the higher
You know what they
universe.
say, right?
What's that?
Prana is a wonder drug that makes you think that prana is a wonder drug.
The two most common types of light eaters are breatharians and sun gazers, who focus on the rising and setting sun to collect pranic nourishment.
That's
Brilliant.
the attack angle
Can I go
of the
back
sun
outside?
rays is... Oh, God damn it.
I came back and I was hoping that you guys were not reading him anymore.
No,
and
we
you
still
were
are.
just talking
We're learning a lot.
amongst
You
yourselves.
really missed out on some life-changing information.
Like the rising and setting sun is when the sun rays are most filtrated by the atmosphere. I can't
Don't
track
stop trying to apply any kind of... Just drink it in.
this. I can't. Like, that's not how I work.
Breatharians get nutrition from a source other than food and exist on a completely different scale. They do not need to consume physical food for nourishment. Instead, they live directly off the life force or prana. Some breatharians live 100% off prana and do not even need to drink water.
No, they don't.
I am aware of only 2 people who live this way, and I can prove it because I've never seen them eat anything around me.
Or drink.
Is that really what it says?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it just says I am aware of only 2 people who live this way.
I wonder why these guys haven't just sat like for 4 days without water in a lab. Just
Well, I mean, this guy did. He went for 8 days.
Yeah.
without food. Anyone can go 8 days
Food
without
and
food.
water.
Yeah,
Chris.
at
No,
least
he
he
specifically,
claims. No one
like,
is.
yeah,
None of us have independently researched it.
he's apparently got a video.
Okay.
So I don't know.
All of the studies that I've seen where people tried to test these whack jobs theories out,
Mhm.
the only one that lasted longer than like 4 days was one that kept having prayer meetings with followers and was not witnessed using the bathroom. Anyone that's tried these things where there's been a group
Mhm.
watching them has nearly died.
And I think that's a good place to stop for now. So don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you're listening on YouTube. And don't forget to go to WeGiveYouBrainworms.com, where you can find our Patreon and other ways to support the show. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
This has been a production of Brainworms Presents. Any copyrighted content contained within is used for purposes of review. Brainworms Podcast is David Combs, Kaine Magdalen, Christian Schaefer, and Joseph Wells. The theme music is Hodgepod No. 1 by Brian Davis. If you like what you heard, you can support us and learn about our other projects at WeGiveYouBrainworms.com or by leaving a review on your favorite listening app. Yeah, never work to make anyone come.
Blow me.